Yeah.
The fundamental question that lies at the root of all of this is the question that you're not wanting to answer, which is whether boys can become girls.
If it makes you guys feel any better, we talk a lot about Minnesota lately, but things are even wackier in California. And we sent one of our best. We sent Ben Shapiro from the free state of Florida. We sent him to California to sit down with Gavin Newsom. And if you're going to sit down with Gavin Newsom in California, you are going to talk about if boys and girls are different. Go.
I think one of the major failings of the Democratic Party in the last election cycle is the unwillingness to say whether it was true or untrue that a boy could become a girl. And I think that's wrong. And I wish that, frankly, you would go further. You've talked about the unfairness in sports, but to me, the bigger question is not unfairness in sports. The bigger question is whether we should be allowing the administration of chemical or surgical mutilation of minors based on gender dysphoria.
My position is that's between the physician, it's between the family member, and these patients themselves.
And my question on that, and again, this is a subset of a broader issue, is why does the parent not have an absolute moral ability to receive that information? And why is there not a requirement? There should be a requirement for teachers to turn over that information. That's a lot of wiggle room for a teacher to apply.
Well,
there are certainly cases in which kids are being, quote unquote, socially transitioned at school without parents knowing about it. I know some of the parents to whom this has happened. I mean, this is the fundamental question that lies at the root of all of this is the question that you're not wanting to answer, which is whether boys can become girls.
All right. So Gavin obviously did not really answer the question, and he pretends he has nothing to do with the policies that he instituted and his ability. It's why I always refer to him as a reptile, because his chameleon-like ability to take every position, depending on who he's sitting with and where he is quite remarkable, and maybe why he'll be president. But I give Ben a lot of credit here. It's not fun to sit with these guys and have them lie to you, but he did it anyway, and it's worth doing, I suppose. But it's just so, now we're going to get to Davos in a minute. I mean, Newsom's over there. It's like, this guy is running for president. May God help us all. Sage.
Yeah. I say the same thing initially. I was like, good for Ben for going to do it. And kudos to Gavin Newsom for allowing it to happen, because, and I'm not trying to give him too much love, trust me, because he knows that when he invites someone like Ben Shapiro, who has a brilliant mind, just like when Charlie Kirk went on his show last spring, and there's going to be clips that come from it, just like the one that we played. And it's comical to me that he continues to just juke around that question when it is so obvious. And remember what happened when he acknowledged to Charlie that there's some unfairness in it when boys play in girls' sports? And then he has to backtrack because it is obviously an issue that really is one of the reasons why Donald Trump is in office, because he was willing to say that there is a difference and that we should protect women's sports and women's spaces. So it's shocking to me. They all know the truth. Stubborn is the nicest word I can think of to describe, how they continue to handle this, which makes me think he's not that smart, though. Like, he's slick, he's got the look, he's got all the things. But if you just, if you go against if you pull a Fetterman and actually have common sense with many obvious topics like this, I believe you're going to actually gain so much more respect from both sides and potentially even bring out more Democrats. But to your point, he absolutely is going to be running for president. And of all the people on the left, though, I mean, between Jasmine Crockett, AOC, what do you want, Pete Buttigieg out there again? He would be my obvious pick if I were on the left as well.
So think how insane that is. I'm with you on that. And I think what he is going to do, mark this, timestamp it, I'll have my guys make note. What he is going to do, there's going to be a primary, obviously, and AOC will probably run, and you're going to get, and maybe even Jasmine. There's always just like a wide collection of wackadoodles, right? And what he will do is he is going to keep pivoting to the center, because he will say anything at any time to anyone. And at the end, just like they did with Joe Biden last time, when they knew he wasn't a particularly good candidate and he was too old and everything else, what did they do? They all cut the deals the day before Super Tuesday, if you remember, and Pete dropped out and Elizabeth Warren dropped out. Kamala had dropped out like 2 days before. 3 or 4 other ones all went down at the exact same time, and they backed him. And I think that's what they'll do with him. They can't go with complete socialism lunacy for the country just yet. It just doesn't work yet, right? And hopefully it'll never work. So we are going to watch a slight pivot back. And so this is not even a criticism of Ben. My fear is the more that people on our side are willing to do this with this chameleon right now, it just keeps him in the conversation.
Great
and just
point.
because he just will say anything. So we're just kind of offering him life support when it really could come back to bite us. But Drew, you're living under his authority now. So, well, not this, literally
I
not this
know.
moment you are away.
The fact that anybody would want this man as president is just astonishing to me. You heard Trump, I think was it on Joe Rogan or something, he was saying, I used to be friends with this guy, but he's just too slimy. I can't even deal with the guy now. And he calls him new scum. But my question to you guys is, I don't understand why the left, they clearly, the public does not like this topic, and they do not like the left's interpretation of this topic. Why did they continue to insist on hanging their hat on this issue?
It's a protection racket. I mean, this is what the progressives have done with everything. The craziest stake out the craziest possible position. And then because they're the loudest and they call everybody racist and bigots and everything else, everyone that you just kind of go along with it because you're just like, they're loud, I don't know, whatever. And then by the time it hits you, by the time suddenly it's your daughter who wants to be a boy, or, you've been called a racist for something that's not racist, you're so deep in it. It's basically like a game of Russian roulette or something, or not Russian roulette, but it's basically like 10 guys all have a gun to the next guy's head, and everybody's waiting to see who's going to pull the trigger first. So I don't think it's that much more complex than that. It's not that they buy this, but they're all in a sort of self-induced hostage situation.